Hey, happy Halloween, everybody. How's it going, man?
Good. How about you?
Uh, Too hard to hear in this thing. Oh man, do you know what movie that's from?
No.
Oh, it's Nicolas Cage movie called Mandy.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
there's a little commercial in there in the Cheddar Goblin. Uh, but let's hope Jameis Winston isn't scary to the Chargers this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I was hoping we face Watson. I truly was because this was like one of the games where I was like, okay, should be an easy win. And now Winston's on a tear. I'm very happy for him. It's just, go nice on the Chargers this week.
I know, man. I know. Yeah, they got some deep threats. So they got Cedric Tillman. Uh, Nick Chubb is back. He hasn't done a whole lot since then, but
Yeah.
he was a force when he was healthy. Don't let him get going. And
Yeah.
those deep bombs that Jameis Winston throws, man, that's dangerous. You can't let that happen.
Yeah. I hope Fulton's practicing today because he was out yesterday with the hamstring injury. We're gonna need him out there. Tillman is like a Tillman mania type of thing right now because there's a league I'm in and some guy spent 100 fab on him. I was like, I've never seen a player be spent like if someone spent that much on a player, let alone a receiver. I was like, dude, that's crazy. And he's starting him this weekend, and of course, playing me. So I hope for my sake they slow him down. But he's been a monster. Targets wise too, he's been getting a lot of targets. Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy are their other receivers. Jerry Jeudy, he can kind of explode, but we haven't seen that this year. So you just have to keep him in check. Chubb, yeah, I mean he's back and he's slowly working his full workload.
Sorry, let me let my
Um,
dog in here.
oh, no problem. Yeah, I was just saying Chubb working slowly to his full workload. But if they can slow down Winston, I think like pressure him on third downs. I would think that's the key because if you're pressuring him, how good is he going to be, right? Because from what I remember watching him play these last two games, he was sitting in the pocket pretty comfortably and has a lot of time to throw like Brock Purdy does. So you got to pressure him and kind of throw him off his game. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be easy to throw the Tillman 12 times and more 10 times and whatever. So I think that's the key. And also Njoku. David Njoku, he has been a monster this year. He was last year too at the end of the season with Joe Flacco. You're going to need Deion Henley, Derwin James, if Perriman plays, Denzel Perriman, but also Junior Colson to step up against Njoku because he can, cost teams matches. And we've seen that happen in the past where he has a big performance against a divisional team like the Ravens, for example, and they just go on a run and they beat the Ravens. So you got to contain Njoku.
Yeah, I think I saw Joey Bosa has been practicing.
Yeah.
Maybe limited, but yeah, it'd be big to have him out there again to get pressure on Winston.
Yeah.
Because it seems like Khalil's the only guy really that's been getting pressure consistently. Yeah, and
Yeah, and we spoke about this on Wednesday or on Monday about Thule. He steps up when Bosa's on the field, and we saw that on Sunday against the Saints. So for that sake alone, I hope Bosa's out there. And also Bosa himself wreaks havoc. I mean, we've seen it this year. So we need him out there. If I would trade in him not playing until the playoffs, to have him healthy, but at the same time, we might need him to get to the playoffs. So we just need him out there. And as long as he's, at least 75% healthy, because it's just deteriorating for himself too, all these injuries, and he feels like he's letting fans down. And the fans kind of being really hard on him doesn't help. So it's just I don't know what kind of mental state he's in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't look like he was in a good state when he came out of the last game. He looked pretty down, and it sucks for him because he's laying his body out on the line. He's not sleeping at night because of the pain. And yeah, you just got to hope for the best for him. We got to hope DJ Chark is out there finally, hopefully, because maybe this front office is waiting to see what the team is like with DJ Chark and with Lads, hopefully stepping up again like he did last week.
I mean, the clock's ticking. The deadline's approaching. I think it's next week or so, 1 or 2 weeks. If you're gonna make a move, you gotta make a move. Deontay's already gone to the Ravens, and I think what that does for the Ravens is, you get Lamar more options, but it also opens up more opportunities, efficient opportunities for Zay Flowers. Because no, he won't see 12 targets, let's say, but out of those 7 targets, he'll catch 6 and get more yardage. Because now Deontay is going to take focus away from Zay, right? That CB1 is going to be on Deontay. So that was a very smart move by the Ravens. That offense is stacked. And I think that's the type of team the Chargers need to beat to, advance in the playoffs. And aside from the Chiefs right now, record-wise, they might just end second, the Ravens. They're really good. And Lamar Jackson, he's hurt right now. But, I mean, he has everything he needs on that offense. So if that defense holds their own, they're going to be tough to beat. So Chargers need to make a move, whether it's for tight end or receiver.
Yeah, the Ravens are vulnerable on defense right now, as we saw. Cleveland beat them last week.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, let's see what our full team, our full receivers look like out there next week. I hope. QJ has been practicing again too.
Yeah, so I hope so, because we need to see it before the deadline. And to your point about the Browns beating the Ravens, Derrick Henry struggled because that run defense is very, very good. And that's kind of, I think, what tempted them to go out and get Deontay. And that's smart, because they, saw that, okay, this isn't enough. We need another weapon. But going back to that about the Browns defense, it's going to be very difficult for Dobbins and Vidal. And, Dobbins has had some easier matchups. Last week he did very well, but the matchups prior, like against the Cardinals, didn't do that well. I think we spoke about this on Monday. It's just too much of a workload for him.
Yeah.
And I'd mentioned this way back in week 2 or 3 when he was getting all these touches. I was like, maybe this is too many touches for him right now. He's just coming back from that ACL injury. I don't know if he should be overworked, but so far, knock on wood, he's stayed healthy. And hopefully that continues, but you need Gus out there. Because like you've been saying, he tires out those defenses. And even if it's 2-3 yards, whatever it is, it's getting to the defenses. And with JK as the RB2, I'm not going to say this is timeshare, RB1 timeshare there. But with JK getting less touches, I should say, he has more efficient runs compared to now, where he's just running 25 times and getting three-ish yards a carry. And I miss that JK, to be honest. So I hope Gus is back soon.
Yeah. And then not to mention the blocking. He's made some great blocks too. How many games has he missed already? I know he has to miss at least 4 games.
I think he's missed at least 2, if not 3, because I think he went onto the IR during our bye week. I don't think he played against Denver. So that's 1. Cardinals, Saints. This is his 4th week, I think. So he should be back next week if everything went okay. And that's good because it's a 3-game home stretch right there. So this is another important week for the Chargers. Like last week was important. We got the win, but so did the Broncos. So and the Broncos didn't play a good team, but we played the Panthers too earlier in the season. So it's like you have to win these types of games. I'm not saying Cleveland is a scrub team, especially now with Winston and Chubb back, but it's still a winnable game. And I think through the air, Herbert can really cook that defense with Ladd. Hopefully Johnson's back too, because we saw with the Ravens, those receivers were, flying on offense. And the run game should be limited Sunday because it's a very, very tough run defense like we saw against Derrick Henry. So it's Herbert's game Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, if we lose this game, it's going to be the narrative like, oh, you can't beat teams that are good, or and the Browns aren't even seen as a really good team, but yeah, like you said, they're on the up because of Winston.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see what the playoff standings currently are like. We have a 79% chance currently to make the playoffs. But I'm not sure where we are currently in the standings. I mean, the chances are good because we have some easy matchups like the Titans, and then we play the Patriots later on and the Raiders, all winnable games. So that's 3 games right there. If you can beat the Browns, that's 4 at the least. So chances are good, but you got to just take care of business.
Yeah, last I saw, we're in the 7th seed right
7th.
now. Yeah, but the Broncos are one of those teams ahead just because they have one extra game. Yeah.
So. Right. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. They have another bye. I think their bye is week 14. So that's benefits them, not now, but in the long run, because I believe we play them after week 14, but it's at home. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then we play week 14 in Kansas City. So that game could really, I wouldn't say determine a lot, but it could be a good indicator of whether we're going to make a push in the playoffs or not, at least. I think we have a chance if we can get receiver help.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what having all these full, the full complement of receivers, what that looks like. And if Ladd still, puts up those big numbers, if Herbert spreads it around more, yeah, because if Disley is still getting involved, yeah, Herbert's been so good, man. Like, these passes, and he's getting hit so often, pressured so often, and he's just throwing darts, pinpoint strikes everywhere to anyone who's on the field, like.
Yeah. And people don't appreciate it. No. And it's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You either don't watch the games and you just watch numbers, which don't tell the whole story in any sport. I mean, I don't understand the hate for him. The guy's extremely quiet, besides this year, because this year it seems like, he's becoming more of a leader vocally and emotionally. Like that touchdown that he threw to Ladd the second time, he was going crazy on the field. I was like, whoa, man, I've never seen Herbert like this. And I loved it. We need that type of passion from him. And, I've said it last year too, like, he needs to have that confidence of a Patrick Mahomes because he's that good. I'm not talking about the cockiness of Mahomes, just the confidence of him. And if he gets that, and he's slowly but surely getting there, he's gonna get better. Because in his mind, he was kind of holding back those emotions, and now he's not. So I love that.
Yeah, and you saw it from that big run he had. What was it, like a
38 yards?
38-yard run. You saw him, with the passion after that run. After the big hit, and I know he has it. Like, when the time I met him, just talking to him, you can tell, like, this guy eats, breathes, lives football. Like, yeah.
So it reminded me of Phillip Rivers' 4-yard run against the Ravens in the playoffs.
First half.
Man, that was good. I love that moment. And I think it was Lamar Jackson at the time. He was a rookie, and we beat them. Those are good times. But yeah, I mean, even just looking past this week too, like if Herbert can just get into the playoffs and get that first playoff win, that's another hurdle he just climbed. So that's another, and then the narrative's going to be, oh, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Every time there's going to be something. If he wins a Super Bowl, he didn't put up good enough stats, or he didn't win MVP, or whatever it is. Something's going to come up every time.
Or he doesn't have as many as Mahomes.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, Mahomes has been in the league how many years already? It's crazy that Herbert's been in the league for 4 or 5 years now. Imagine, I don't remember when Mahomes got in. It was like 2018, 2019, because I remember when we went to Chargers Chiefs in Carson, that was Mahomes' first season starting. It was his first game.
At that game.
Oh, you were too?
I was.
Yeah. Man, that Tyreek Hill punt return just killed it from the start. But
I know.
That was his first game. So he's been in the league way longer. And it's like saying, Bo Nix coming into the league, he should have more championships than Lamar Jackson. Like he just came into the league. And Herbert didn't just come into the league, but Mahomes has been there for a much longer time than he has.
Well, and he's been there with a great coach, you know, with a great team around him, I
was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Herbert didn't have an Andy Reid, but now, it seems like he has someone better. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun watching that matchup again. But they have to take care of business right here. Sunday it starts, because they win Sunday, that's 5-3. Then I believe next week they play the Titans. That's a free win. You can't let that win go.
Yeah.
And look at that. You're 6-3, right? Against the Bengals. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And when this 5-game streak started, we said, okay, they can win 4 here. And then we lost to the Cardinals, and we're like, okay, let's win the next 4. So hopefully they can. And then they play the Bengals after that. So hopefully they can. If they can get to 7 wins before they meet the Ravens, there's a good chance they win. There's a good chance they make the playoffs.
Yeah. But hey, this game is in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They're going to be high off that win against Baltimore.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So it's not going to be easy. No,
it's not at all. And credit to Greg Newsome. He was saying he's never seen, I don't remember the exact quote, but something like he's never seen an arm like Herbert's.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for opponents to, praise a starting quarterback on another team. Granted, I don't know how many in the locker room like Deshaun Watson, but that's that aside. It's just not common.
Yeah.
So I love the respect, but let's not take that respect as, they're trying to maybe sweeten up Herbert so he doesn't go off on them.
But Herbert's not going to go for that.
No.
I don't think he's paying attention anyway.
Probably not. He doesn't have social media, I don't think. So probably not. But yeah, you got to take care of Winston, pressure him, contain Njoku, and don't let him throw deep. Because if they can maintain those 3 right there, they'll be good. So the keys to victory for me would be Deion Henley, the inside linebackers, Derwin James, contain Njoku. Pressure Jameis Winston, because we don't know how well he does under pressure. And Nick Chubb isn't the type of back who's a good catcher. So he's not like an Austin Eckler. So even if he's going to toss it short, it's either going to Njoku or the backup RB. And I don't think Jerome Ford is healthy right now. And then number 3, air it out. because this is one of their weak points in that defense is the pass defense. Air it out, let your receivers do the work, like we saw last week with Ladd. Feed off of that. Don't shy away from it. Keep going to him, and he's just going to get better. And this is the opportunity to do so because, again, run defense-wise, the Browns are very good. So air it out, Greg Roman. Do not force the run.
Yeah, I think our secondary is going to be a key because like you said, we want to get pressure. We're not always going to get pressure. So the secondary with Cam Hart and still these guys have been playing great. Next to Fulton, so they're going to be tested this time.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see what they got. If they can do a good job in this game, keeping the receivers from catching those deep balls, and then we know they're the real deal for us. And Zont will be out of a job. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunate, but it's just part of the business. I mean,
yeah,
can't do much.
Yeah, can't do much. And interior O-line, show me something. Protect Herbert a little bit. They got fired up after Bradley Bozeman, pushed off what's his name on the Saints for
Shepard.
Shepard. For trying to break Herbert's ankle. That fired up the team. Let's keep that passion going with the inside of the O-line. Protect Herbert. Hopefully, open up some lanes that get some good runs against a good run defense.
Yep,
that would be awesome to see. And finally, let's have this be a penalty-free game. We've been struggling with that all season. We've had a couple games where it didn't, affect us, but it's been there. It's been a looming thing, and something we still need to clean up. So,
yeah, it's been there, and it's cost us 3 games. So, definitely clean up those penalties. And something we didn't talk about: Joe Alt against Myles Garrett. I think Garrett's healthy. That's going to be another big challenge for Alt. But, as good as Garrett is, he's gotten older. We saw what Alt can do against TJ Watt and Max Crosby. So I think you just have to handle it the same way now. If you're Alt, just go out there and handle it the same way, because no one's better in that position than TJ Watt. And he did a pretty good job against Watt. Last game, Slater and Alt allowed no pressures. We need that again Sunday.
Yeah, and I have a question for you. Herbert with that big run, seems like his ankle's getting better. Do you think Herbert starts running more? Because looking at the training camp, he was making those kind of runs in camp. It looked like something they wanted to do on offense. Do we see that more?
I want to see that more because 2 reasons. He's a mobile quarterback, but he's bigger, right? He has a bigger build than Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or CJ Stroud or any of these guys. So it seems like he's slower, but he's not. You can't get 38 yards and be a slow quarterback. And second, being mobile is key when you have an interior O-line that's struggling. Because when they're bringing the blitz, you can get away from that. I'm not saying he's going to be running around like Kyler Murray, but he's going to actually be getting meaningful yards. So on a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, these 3rd and short plays where they're going to blitz you, and there's no dump off option, that's the second option. And we haven't seen him do it because of the ankle, because of the ribs, and all these different injuries that have piled up on him. So I definitely do think he should incorporate the run. But at the same time, I don't want him to force it because, then we get into the ankle issue and all that. So I'd rather he stay healthy. But like what he did against the Saints, that's a, good ratio there of runs and passes. I think if he just does that per game, we'll be good. I'm not saying he's going to get 38 yards every time, but even just 10, 12, whatever it is, better than 0. So he has the ability. He should do it, but at the same time, don't kind of trigger that ankle.
That's true. And then the defense has to respect it. If
Right.
because right now the defense doesn't respect it. They're
Right.
just going for the sack. They have to play off a little bit.
Yeah.
And you wish JK would be, maybe a better dump off option for him. He hasn't been, that kind of like Eckler option. Yeah. And we saw it that first game with, Vidal, but we haven't seen it much since then.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's not at least seeing, third down opportunities, right? Like those dump offs. JK's catching the passes, which is good, right? Because some of those passes are pretty difficult to catch, but he's catching them. It's just once he catches them, that's it. Yeah. It's like 1 or 2 yards and that's it. Vidal, we should see a little bit more of in the pass catching role. Even in some slants, throw him out there. But yes, Edwards was out against the Broncos because of that catch. I remember now.
Yeah.
Vidal was in. So Edwards should be back next week, which is going to be big for the team. And if he's back and now JK goes off again, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but we have no idea where he is in his recovery,
Yeah. Sometimes I don't understand that. Like, you go on the IR, and then just for 4 weeks, no one says a word about it, and then he's back, or he's limited, or okay, like what happened during that process? No one speaks about that, so I don't get it. But
yeah, and Popper keeps asking these questions to Harbaugh every time, and Harbaugh, oh man,
he's a lot better than Staley at answering questions. I'll tell you that. I mean, Staley, what was it? 2 years ago, he blew up on Popper. Last year too, I think. It's like, dude, he's just doing his job. His job is to ask tough questions. I mean, if you can't take it, then why even show up? You're not going to get softball questions here. I don't understand. I think maybe that's what Staley expected because he was like, oh, I'm the coach. They're not going to ask me tough questions. But no, that's not how it works. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, I miss these guys that we had, like Eckler, for those reasons. But then it's like the way this team is formed now is a lot better than it was before. Like, yeah, we're missing quote unquote talent because, Keenan, Mike, and Eckler were considered big things in LA. But just the foundation that we have right now is a lot cleaner than it was last year. Less mistakes. Yeah, penalties are still there for the O-line, but just those 4th and 1 runs that Eckler used to do and get stuffed. I mean, I think there have been adjustments made. There was a 4th down play, I believe, that they ran again and got stuffed, but it was once, right? Compared to Eckler, Staley did that a bunch of times, and every time he was stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like, and now it's funny because the crowd expects to go on 4th down every time, and Harbaugh's like, no, Dicker, get out there and get us 3 points. And I like that because we need the points. Because when we get down to these nitty-gritty close games, every point matters. So we can't just go for it on 4th down blindly.
Yeah, and you've got the top defense in the NFL out there to stop teams. You don't need a touchdown every time.
Yeah.
With Staley, it was a track meet, so you had to go for it because you don't score, they're going to score on you.
Yeah.
But now this team's going to stop you. So
that's right. And it's like no matter where you were on the field, go for it. Like a 4th and 10 with like, I don't know, 3rd quarter, go for it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're literally giving them possession. It was insane. Like that 4th and Staley name, it became a big thing, but then it died out because like this guy's just overusing that 4th and whatever, and we're just going for it constantly.
Well, the worst was that Raiders game, the do or die Raiders game.
Man,
When we're on our what were we on, our own
like
20
30
or
or
something?
40.
30 or 40? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. To this day, I don't understand. It was a 4th and 2, I believe. I didn't understand it. What you need 2 yards. You have guys like Everett and Keenan. Keenan's gonna catch it no matter what. You know that. And you just run it?
Yeah.
Man, those were some bad games. I don't even want to relive it.
Yeah. 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 And poor Keenan over there with the Bears,
Yeah.
reliving Chargers
He was
trauma with the
he was
last
just
second.
smiling when
Yeah.
when Noah Brown caught that. He's like, yeah, I know these moments
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
But let's see what this defense does. We've allowed less than 100 points so far in the season. If we can keep this team under 20 points Sunday, we should be able to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep the offense on track, yeah, because that last great game against the Saints was great for the offense. It was something everybody needed, the fans, the players.
Yeah.
We needed to see it out on the field because it was like, can they score, So keep it rolling.
It was really good to see. And, I kind of look at Ladd in a Zay Flowers type of role. And Zay cooked the Browns. Although they lost, he had over 100 yards receiving. So let's see another 100-yard performance from him.
Yeah.
And on a final note, Joshua Palmer, it was announced the other day that he is not in the team's long-term plans.
I saw that.
So it seems like they're open to trading him. It's just, what's his value right now? And you never know. They might force the ball to him on Sunday to increase that value a little. Because we saw that a little bit last Sunday against the Saints. He was getting more involved. I was like, okay, maybe this is a good thing for both sides. But yeah, I think we get something done. It's just a matter of what and when. Because if we're looking at the Jets and Mike Will, there's no room for Palmer there. So we need to trade Palmer somewhere where they need receivers. And I don't know where, unless you miraculously get T. Higgins, which I don't see happening. But if they do, that's huge.
Yeah. You think about maybe the Bucks because they're down receivers.
True.
Yeah.
But then who are they going to give in return? Like, they have Trey Palmer. They're not going to give the rookie McMillan. But Trey Palmer is decent. It's just, how much of an upgrade is that?
Palmer for Palmer.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what this team does. And they may not even upgrade at receiver. They may say, we like our room. Let's trade Palmer for someone else, another position, hopefully interior O-line, and roll with Chark, Johnston, and McConkey. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see what this front office, what this coaching staff decides.
Yeah, it could look very different by the time the Titans game comes in a week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the deadline, I believe it's either next week or the week after, so it's not far off. So we got to make a move quick because, like you're seeing, these wide receivers are being swooped up. I mean, I don't know what's left besides Mike Williams at this point and T. Higgins, and I don't even think T. Higgins is available right now. So Adam Thielen maybe, but he's not in our long-term plans either. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Remember to subscribe and smash that like button. Drop us a comment too, a question, and head over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code BOLT, they'll match up to $1,000. And yeah, happy Halloween.
All right. See you guys.